They apologized. You prayed together. For a while, the tension seemed to disappear. 3 weeks later, the same wound opened again. So are you looking at a human failure, repeated harm, or something that requires a completely different response? Not every marriage problem belongs in the same category. Some conflicts can be repaired. Some problems keep returning because nothing underneath them has changed. And some situations involve fear, control, or immediate danger. An apology does not automatically prove change, and forgiveness does not instantly rebuild trust. Today, we are going to walk through 6 questions Christians should keep asking before marriage, inside marriage, and after trust has been damaged. The first question is not whether the relationship feels difficult, but what kind of difficulty you are actually facing. 1. Who else can see what you cannot? A woman tells her sister, "You do not know him the way I do." She means it. She has seen his kindness, heard his prayers, and remembers every moment that made the relationship feel safe. But love can make one good conversation feel louder than months of concern. That does not mean your family is always right. Relatives can speak from fear, jealousy, control, or prejudice. A pastor can misunderstand. A friend can project pain from an old relationship onto yours. So the question is not, who disagrees with me? The better question is, do several mature people keep noticing the same thing? Imagine that your sister raises one concern. Later, a premarital counselor asks about the same issue. Then, a longtime friend, without hearing either conversation, describes the same uneasiness. That deserves attention. Proverbs 15:22 says, "Plans fail for lack of counsel, but with many advisors they succeed." The verse does not say that every outside voice is wise. It says important decisions become stronger when tested by more than one person. Sociologist Diane Felmley has written about how couples are shaped by the people around them. Her work carries a simple reminder. A relationship does not exist by itself. Approval, concern, support, and repeated warnings can reveal things that attachment makes difficult to see. Ask 3 independent people who know you well. Do not ask them to choose for you. Ask what they observed, when they noticed it, and whether their concern is specific. Counsel is not a vote. It is another set of eyes. 2. Another set of eyes can help you choose wisely, but even a wise choice will face conditions that did not exist while you were dating. 6 months after the first baby arrived, the nights are shorter, the bills are higher, and both people are carrying more than they expected. Then one spouse loses a job, the other starts working extra hours. Neither person has suddenly become cruel or faithless. Life has simply placed new weight on the marriage, and the old way of sharing time, money, and responsibility may no longer work. This is where many couples become confused. They assume that because the choice was right, the marriage should still feel easy. Sometimes the strain is not proof that one person deceived the other. It may mean their responsibilities were never renegotiated. But dating reveals who a person is under one set of conditions. Marriage keeps introducing new ones. Researchers Brian Doss, Galena Rhodes, Scott Stanley, and Howard Markman followed couples for 8 years as some became parents. Relationship quality often changed around that transition, but not every couple changed in the same way. The lesson is not that children ruin marriages. The lesson is that major changes expose needs that love alone cannot organize. Luke 14:28 asks, "Who would begin building without first counting the cost?" Yet counting the cost does not mean predicting every illness, layoff, caregiving duty, or sleepless year. It means staying willing to count again when the cost changes. Ask what is different now. Who is carrying more? What conversation has been postponed? What worked 2 years ago but no longer works today? A good choice needs new wisdom when life creates new conditions. 3. Two marriages can contain the same argument and require completely different responses. In one home, a husband and wife argue about the monthly budget. Voices rise. Both cool down. The next morning, they reopen the numbers, admit where they were wrong, and agree on a new plan. The disagreement was painful, but both people remained free to speak, question, and repair what happened. In another home, one spouse hides a large debt. When the other asks about it, the questions are punished with threats, days of silence, or blocked access to money. The subject may still be finances, but the condition is no longer the same. One couple is working through conflict. The other is learning that honesty carries a price. There are at least 3 conditions to recognize. Some conflicts can be repaired because both people can listen and change. Some harm continues because promises are made but conduct stays the same. And some situations involve fear, threats, stalking, or control over money, movement, communication, or safety. Different conditions require different wisdom. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says intimate partner violence can range from a single episode to harm that continues for years. It also includes stalking and psychological aggression, which may be used to cause emotional harm or gain control over another person. So do not judge only by the subject of the argument. Ask what happens when someone says no. Ask whether speaking honestly brings repair or punishment. Ask whether both people still have freedom, access to help, and the ability to make ordinary choices without fear. This does not let a video diagnose your marriage. It helps you know when ordinary advice may be too small for what is happening inside your own home today. Before choosing a solution, name the condition. 4. The first failure matters. The response to being confronted may matter even more. A wife notices that her husband has crossed an agreement about phone privacy. He admits it, answers her questions, and changes what he is doing. The mistake was real, so was the correction. Now change the scene. The same issue returns 4 times in 3 months. Each conversation ends with denial, blame, or a promise that disappears within days. The question is no longer only, "What happened?" It is, "What keeps happening after the truth is spoken?" Watch 4 things. First, does the behavior return after it is named? Second, does the other person listen or punish you for bringing it up? Third, who keeps paying the cost? Who changes plans, gives up sleep, avoids certain topics, or makes themselves smaller to keep the peace? Fourth, what is happening inside you? Are you becoming quieter, more anxious, or afraid to ask questions? One woman stops talking about money because every question leads to 3 days of silence. She begins checking the mood before opening a bank statement. The silence now controls the conversation. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention explains that psychological aggression can include verbal or nonverbal behavior used to cause emotional harm or gain control over another person. That does not mean every cold evening is abuse. It means repeated punishment, fear, and loss of freedom deserve attention. A promise describes intention. Repeated behavior describes reality. Do not judge a marriage from one painful moment. People fail. People misunderstand. People can change. But do not ignore what many moments are showing when the same hurt returns. The same questions are punished, and the same person keeps carrying the cost. Time reveals whether correction was received or merely survived. Do not judge the whole relationship from one moment. Do not ignore what many moments are proving. 5. An emotional apology can feel like an ending. In reality, it may only be the first piece of evidence. A husband hides $8,000 in credit card debt. When the truth comes out, he cries, says he is sorry, and promises it will never happen again. The emotion may be sincere, but sincerity alone does not show what will happen next. Regret focuses on the pain of being exposed. Remorse recognizes the pain caused to someone else. Repair changes what made the harm possible. That means naming the debt clearly, accepting responsibility without excuses, giving full access to the statements, agreeing to a budget, and refusing to open another account in secret. Then time begins to speak. 6 months of honest statements, shared decisions, and steady follow-through tell you more than one intense conversation. Research on effective apologies often points to 2 essential actions: accepting responsibility and making restitution. Words matter. Changed conduct matters more. A real apology also leaves room for questions. It does not demand instant comfort from the person who was hurt. It does not turn tears into pressure. It accepts that rebuilding may move more slowly than regret would prefer. Forgiveness is not the same as reconciliation. Forgiveness concerns what you do with resentment and the desire for revenge. Reconciliation is the work of 2 people rebuilding a relationship. Trust rises only as evidence becomes consistent. Access can remain limited while that evidence is still being tested. You may forgive and still require separate finances for a season. You may release vengeance and still ask for counseling, accountability, or distance. Mercy does not require pretending that trust has already returned. Matthew 3:8 says, "Bear fruit in keeping with repentance." Fruit can be seen. It appears in honesty, restitution, patience, and conduct that remains steady when no praise is given. Repentance may begin with words. Trust returns through evidence. Do not ask only, "Did they apologize?" Ask, "What has become different because they did?" 6. Some viewers are not deciding whom to marry. They are grieving the years they believe they can never recover. After 9 years, a woman may look back and see more than a relationship that ended badly. She may see money she no longer has, friendships that faded, work she turned down, and a version of herself she no longer recognizes. Telling her to just move on does not honor what was lost. Some losses cannot be reversed. Time does not return. Certain opportunities may be gone. Grief begins by naming that honestly. But not everything is beyond repair. A person can lose confidence in memory, judgment, and choice after years of being questioned, blamed, or controlled. That loss can feel deeper than the end of the marriage itself. Recovery often begins before meaning. It begins with sleep, safety, medical care, and one trustworthy person who will listen without taking over. Then come small decisions. Open a bank account in your name. Learn where the money goes. Call the sister you have not spoken to in 2 years. Choose what you will eat, where you will sit, and who may speak into your life. These choices may look ordinary. Each one teaches your mind that your voice still belongs to you. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention notes that intimate partner violence can be connected to depression and post-traumatic stress symptoms. Pain this deep should not be treated as a failure of faith, and this video cannot replace a trained counselor, physician, attorney, or domestic violence advocate. If you are in immediate danger in the United States, call 911. For relationship abuse, contact the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 800-799-SAFE. Use their chat or text START to 88788. If you may harm yourself or are in a suicidal crisis, call or text 988. The future does not have to become a protest against the past. It can become a life built from choices, wise help, and truth you no longer have to deny. Discernment is not the power to predict every future. It is the willingness to keep seeing clearly, seek wise help, respond to evidence, and refuse to call confusion faith. Save these 6 questions. Take one to a counselor, trained pastor, or independent advisor. Then watch the next video on how to know whether change is real.